Usa ka pagtuo, usa ka tingog, usa ka katawhan. Cebu Catholic Television Network.
Cebuanos Filipinos continue to thrive wherever they are all over the world. Catch a glimpse of their adventures as they explore and experience the world and share experiences with Filipinos living abroad. Join us and travel the world through their eyes with Attorney Divine Marshall Flores live from New Brunswick, Canada, and Tony Ortega live from British Columbia, Canada. This is CCTN International Pinoy Journeys.
Good morning Cebu, good morning Philippines. Welcome na usab sa atong tulumanon CCTN International Pinoy Journeys. Ako na usab si Divine Marshall Flores live gikan diri sa New Brunswick, Canada. Ug ang akong partner in behalf sa akong partner nga si Brad Tony Ortega nga medyo busy karong adlaw dito sa British Columbia. Ako una ang makig-uban kaninyo karong buntag sa atong tulumanon. But of course, kining atong programa dili kini kompleto kung wala tay kauban nga Filipino nga nagpuyo sa gawas sa nasod nga diin mo share sa iyang journey. And this time, ang ato ikauban nga Filipino nga nagtrabaho sa gawas sa nasod live gikan sa Tokyo, Japan. Usa siya ka magtutudlo, nag-teach siya og English language dito sa Japan, but karon aduna na siya iyang kaugalingon nga tunghaan. But karong buntaga magtagalog ta tungod kay ang atong guest nagdako kini dito sa kauluhan apan dugay-dugay na ni siya nga nagpuyo sa Japan. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our guest this morning, si Ma'am Hannah Galvez. Ma'am Hannah, good morning.
Maayong buntag sa iyong tanan at good morning, Mom Divine. I'm so happy finally to be here with you. I think we have arranged this talk for quite some time and finally today. So greetings from Tokyo, Japan. It's cloudy day today.
Okay, so mga anong oras ngayon dyan sa Tokyo, Japan?
It's 10:30 in the morning, 1 hour ahead lang kami mula sa Pilipinas. Yes.
Okay, so pareho tayo ng oras because it's 10:30 here in Canada, sa New Brunswick, but evening kami dito.
Sa amin morning, 10:30.
Oo. So pareho kayo ng araw sa Pilipinas. Ako naman is Thursday night here.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
So, madali lang mag-adjust actually. Walang jet lag kung nagbibiyahe ako sa Cebu o kaya sa bayan nating Pilipinas.
Oo, mga ilang oras lang yung flight from Tokyo to Cebu or to Philippines?
About 4 hours. So, mabilis lang. Para akong mas malayo nga. Actually, ang family ko ay nasa La Union. Kaya, that's about 6 to 7 hours from the airport. Kaya, mas mahaba pa yung biyahe ko pauwi ng probinsya kaysa pag lumipad ako mula Tokyo hanggang sa, NEA or sa my airport sa Manila.
Okay, tama. Okay, but before we will start talking about your journey in Japan, gusto naming malaman po kung saan po kayo isinilang dito sa Pilipinas, saan po kayo lumaki.
Okay. I was born in Pangasinan, Binalunan. So sa mga nakikinig na taga Pangasinan, kumusta kayo? Pero actually, mas bihasa ako sa Ilocano kasi ang family ko tumira sa Baguio City saka sa La Union. Ako lang yung pinanganak sa Pangasinan. At that was like years ago, decades ago. Matagal na. But so when I was 25 years old, tumira ako sa Japan and I live longer here than in the Philippines. So, matagal na akong nawala sa bayan natin. Before coming to Japan, nasa iba't ibang bansa rin ako, about 25 countries. But then, imagine how long, 22 years old pala ako nung umalis ako dyan sa Pilipinas.
Sa Pilipinas, oh, grabe naman, no? So, I understand na sa UP po kayo gumraduate ng Mascom, right?
That's my master's. Yes, Economics Political Science graduate ako sa UP Manila and then nag-master's sa Diliman. But actually, my first course is BS Math, Mathematics. I love math. But then, during my era, siguro malalaman niyo yung age ko, that was a time na very active on student activism. 1980s to mga people power movement. 1982, yung mga UP graduates diyan, normally nagsasabi kami ng student number at alam na namin yung era na yon. So, my student number starts with 82. So, that's the time I went to UP. I actually passed sa UP Diliman, but then because yung bahay namin ay sa La Union, mas malapit ako sa Baguio. So, nag-change ako ng course kagad, BS Math, because I love math. But then with all the political situation nung nasa university ako, nag-shift ako ng course ng Economics Political Science, and then nag-move ako sa Manila. Nandun kasi yung center ng activism.
Tama. At that time, no? Okay. And then, sinabi mo kanina, 22 years old ka pa lang, umalis ka na sa Pilipinas. Paano nangyari yun? At tapos 22 countries na ang napuntahan mo? Ang swerte mo naman.
Oh, okay. Before I answer that, actually, even now, it's Friday today, no, dito sa Japan. I'm still reflecting yung sermon na napakinggan ko last Sunday na ang sabi ng, yung nagbigay ng sermon is, are we building the kingdom of me? Like, in our journey here on earth, are we building our own kingdom? And then the middle letter of the word pride is I. So I must be careful because yun ang sermon na napakinggan ko nung Sunday. And even now, I'm still reflecting na, we must not be building our own kingdom and then, just saying always the I. So it's all by God's grace that I'm where I am now. And so, sabihin mo na ang biyaya ng Panginoon, of course, that's only by God's grace that I was able to go to other countries, about 25 of them. Pero nakakatuwa kasi the first country na napuntahan ko ay on board a ship. Maybe you've heard MV Dulos, palagi kami dyan sa Cebu. So my first visit dyan sa Cebu ay via ship. And then yung first trip ko abroad, overseas din ay sa pamamagitan ng ship. So maybe you're aware ng MV Dulos. So we go to different ports ng ibang bansa. And then sumakay din ako ng iba't ibang eroplano papunta sa ibang bansa. But mainly nakatira ako sa ship for almost 3 years at the age of 22.
Because I remember, yung Imbidolos, the last time nagpunta sila sa Cebu, nakabisita din kami. Kasi, di ba, you can buy books, anything you want, yung mga pambata na mga books, yung para naman natin. So, I think once a year sila pumunta ng Cebu. But recently, hindi ko na alam kung ano. Yun yung unang trabaho niyo po?
No, I was working at Malacanang Palace before, the time of Mom, correctly, no. Siya ang aking boss. I worked there for more than a year. She turned the palace into a museum, so I was one of the first staff there. So, when we opened the palace, maraming mga bisita, and even yung bisita ni Ma'am Cory Aquino, kami yung nag-tour, nag-guide. And then, even pag may mga speaking engagements siya, kasama kami. Let's say, may event nun sa Coconut Palace ng mga iba't ibang leaders. Kami yung mga staff doon. So, I had actually a very good job back home. And coming from UP, I was offered a lot of good jobs.
True.
Even from, offered from NEDA, GSIS. So, when I joined this MV Dulos, it's just more of actually my family wants me to go to the US kasi the American dream, and then marami akong kamag-anak doon. So,
Okay.
going to Dulos is just more of, let's say, that time yung, kasi napapa-involve na ako masyado sa student activism. Gusto kong paalisin ang family ko papuntang ibang bansa just to avoid that. Tapos, nakita ko na naghahanap ang Dulos ng volunteer. And then, so I was actually one of the volunteers. And that time is kind of like soul searching na rin kung saan
Oo.
ako talaga. Kasi, I reached the height of my, if you would like to work at tapos sa Malacanang with the president, that's really good. But then, a lot of coup d'etats before. Na-experience ko yun, yung sabihin nila na dapat mag-exit kayo sa back.
Oo.
Pagbabarge kami. Kasi yung main gate, marami ng mga nag-rally doon. Papunta na yung tanks. I'm not sure if you're aware, mga stories na ganito. So, nagbabarge kami papunta sa bahay pangarap. Yun ang aking experience. So, my family would like me to, go to the US and yung common na pag-iisip na American dream.
Mm-mm.
Ayun. So, let's say, ayun, I joined the ship Dulos and the first country is Taiwan. Yung pinuntahan namin. And then we also went to Hong Kong. Tapos, and then, meron yung tinatawag na First Love Europe, yung gathering of the young people in Germany that time. But first ever in Love Europe, that was 1989. Ito na yun yung, the fall of the Berlin Wall. If you can remember yung history natin. So, I was there. Kasama ko sa mga young people doon, but we call it Love Europe. So, that was the same month na nandun kami, yung the fall of the Berlin Wall. And then I was actually planning to join the ship, the sister ship of Dulos, that's Logos, which is in South America. Kasi I love trying to, yung history ng aming, nakikita yung apelyido ko no Galvez. So, nag-research ako, Galvez daw ay Guatemala, nag-umpisa. Tapos, it's a village. Kasi yung history na, naku, teacher talaga, no? Nagsasabi na ako ng history. Okay. Pero sa Philippines naman, no, mga apelyido natin galing sa Spain. So, ang Galvez daw, isang town sa Guatemala. And then, it's pangalan lang ang sinasabi. So, for example, Hana de Galvez. So, I'm from Galvez town, ganon. Hanggang lahat ng tao doon, ang apelyido nila Galvez. And then, yung mga lalaki doon, dinala sa Spain, pinadala sa Pilipinas. So, yung history ng Galvez, 1800 sa San Fernando. Ayun. So, when I learned that history, gusto kong pumunta sa South America. Which up to now, sa dami ng pinuntahan kong bansa, hindi pa ako nakakarating doon.
Sa South America. Okay. So, meaning to say, yung Invidolos, yun yung last job mo before po kayo nag-Japan?
Yes.
Okay.
Because on the ship, somebody invited me to work here. I didn't apply.
Yeah.
But one Japanese man married to an American lady. They own a school here in Japan. Tapos, that was the time na nagbibid ang Japan to host the Winter Olympics 1998. Tapos
Okay.
nanalo ang Japan. So, may tinatawag na English boom. A lot of Japanese would like to study Japanese. So, this small school in Nagano is a provincial area in Japan. Pero maganda yung snow nila doon, powdery snow, so famous for yung good for skiing. So,
Yeah.
nung nanalo yung Nagano, may Japanese on board na nag-invite ng mga teachers. That time, he was always approaching me na, kasi I was the public, I was the information desk leader. So, I was doing a lot of announcements on board, like Attention Ships
Okay.
Company, we are now the port of Cebu. Ayan, so
Okay.
everybody has my voice.
Kasi ang ganda ng boses mo. Di ba? Ang ganda
you.
ng
Thank
boses
you.
mo.
Ayun, tapos this Japanese guy always comes to where, I was working, the information desk. Tapos sabi niya, it's so clear when you announce, so you'll be a good teacher to the Japanese, ganon. And then, one time, there was this radio station dyan sa Cebu, in-invite siya, tapos, nirecommend din ako. So, dalawa kami. So, And then, ilang beses niya akong kinakausap. And then, finally, nag-asa ko ng advice sa aking magulang, especially my dad. My dad was in Saudi Arabia that time.
Okay.
Ang mga tatay na nag-abroad noon. So, yung mga OFWs, 1970s, meron na akong idea noon. Which I never thought magiging OFW din ako. Ayun. So, that time, if you know yung history din ng aming place, sa San Fernando, especially yung village namin, yung mga namamatay na Hapon during the World War II, doon tinatambak sa baryo namin. Yung aking grandfather, so siya yung teniente del barrio, siya yung leader. So, ang narinig ko noon, pag may namamatay na Hapon o kaya yung even Filipinos, tinatambak sa baryo namin. Kaya tinawag nilang Baryo Negro kasi biniburn yung mga namatay doon. So, mga tao sa amin, galit sila sa mga Hapon.
Yes. Tama. Kasi hindi maganda yung experience natin
Hindi.
with them, right?
Yes. So, coming to Japan is actually, it's not an easy decision din. So, sekreto na nag-Japan ako. Tapos, so I have to ask the blessing of my father na nasa Saudi noon. Hindi ko sinabi kahit kasi sino except my mom and dad, even yung aking mga kapatid. Tapos the day of my flight, nakakatuwa, di papunta na ako ng Manila. Yung lola ko nagising, sabi niya, saan ka pupunta? Kasi may maleta ka. Tapos sabi ng mami ko, magja-Japan. Ako, yung iyak ng lola ko, papatayan ka doon. Kagaya nung gyera doon. Yung hiyag, takot na takot. Tapos, yun ang, so coming to Japan is not really easy then with our, history. So, when I came to Japan, marami rin na-shock na mga kakilala ko. Sabi, sana nag-Japan, hindi yan kumakanta, kaya sumasayaw. You know, the common thinking na pag nag-Japan ka, naging entertainer ka, gano'n. So, kasi, hindi ko talaga alam sumayaw. Hindi rin ako, I may have a good voice, but I cannot sing. It's just a talking voice, it's not a singing voice. Ayun.
Okay, so nung dumating po kayo sa Japan, kasi alam ko ang number one problem natin doon is yung language barrier, di ba? Hindi kasi sila marunong mag-English. So, how was it?
Yes. So, especially in my school, we're not allowed to speak Japanese, a single Japanese. Kasi ang policy ng school, pag open mo ng door, it's English time. So, mag-iisip na rin bata English. So, we're not allowed even to study Japanese.
Okay, that's
Yes,
good.
so that ang mag-strive, mag-aral yung student namin. Sabi nga ng aking boss na, don't practice your Japanese with your students. They pay you to study English, not you practicing your Japanese to, your students. So, mahirap talaga yung language ng Hapon. Sabi nga nila, this is the most difficult language in the world kasi yung kanilang writing, they have to study 4 writings. So, hiragana, katakana, kanji, and romaji, yung ating pagsusulat, Roman letters.
Okay.
And yung kanilang grammar structure is like, ang tinatawag na mirror language. Balik yung sa mirror, for example, what's your name? In Japanese, onamae wa nan desu ka? It's a reflective system. Hindi kagaya ng ito yung subject, ito rin yung translation ng subject. Iba, kung ano yung last word mo, dun mag-uumpisa ng translation. So, pag nag-translate ka ng Japanese, you really have to listen until the end ng kanilang word. And from there, umpisahan mo na mag-translate. So, ang dami sa atin sa English, kahit na magsasalita pa lang siya ng first part, pwede mo na i-translate. Japanese, patapusin mo muna. Hanggang yung pinaka-last word, yun ang umpisa ng iyong translation.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's really very difficult. And then, sa kanilang writing, they mix these 4 writings into a sentence. So, yes. So, with this very difficult language, even mga Hapon, nahirapan din sila. Tapos, dagdagan mo pa na isang language na English. And for them, parang irrelevant yung pag-aaral ng English kasi, mayaman na sila. What for? Ano yung kanilang reason? So, for us na English teachers, we have to really be creative in telling them English is a universal language, and then especially you go overseas, kailangan mo ito. And now Japan is hosting a lot of international sporting events. So they need this. And with this globalization, migration, ayun. So now, kakatapos yung Tokyo Olympics, actually last year yun. So nag-English boom ulit. Sayang nga lang with this pandemic, maraming mga plano na hindi natuloy.
Yeah.
So, but then, wow, ang haba na ng sagot ko.
Pero, meaning to say, wala po kayong experience na nagtuturo, di ba? So, hindi ba challenging yung, kasi I know na nag-teach kayo ng English language at saka yung mga students mo, wala talagang alam sa English, di ba? Hindi ba mahirap yun?
Yes. So, actually, it's really interesting kasi with the boom of English, yung mga bata, dinadala ng mga magulang sa aming school. So parang no choice yung mga bata. And here, then, busy kasi yung mga magulang. So, yung mga bata, after school, meron silang dapat puntahan kasi wala pa yung mga nanay.
Friends nila.
May tinatawag na juku o kaya cram school. Yung iba, after yung klase nila na 3:20 normally, and then may mga activities, let's say 4 o'clock, itong mga bata pupunta na sila sa karate class o kaya judo class pag Monday, and then Tuesday, piano lesson, let's say Wednesday, the summer swimming lesson. Meron silang talagang pinupuntahan na cram school. And now, English is one of them. Ako pumasok ngayon na nag-offer ako ng English cram school. And then, maraming naging plano, like we call it gakudo, yung after school na yung mga bata, makapag-stay sila hanggang 9 in the evening. Kasi normally, English classes is only 1 hour. But then yung gakudo, you can extend for like 4 hours. Ayun. Naplano ko yun actually in 2017, and then launching supposed to be 2020, but with this pandemic, na-stop.
Oo. So, ilang taon po kayong nagtuturo until you decided na I will establish my own language school?
Oh, good question. Let's see. Actually, from the first school na pinuntahan ko dito sa Japan, nag-move ako dito sa Tokyo. And then, nalalaman ng mga kapitbahayan na merong foreigner. Maybe because of the skin color, kakaiba. Tapos, ina-approach ko, do you teach English? Gumaganon sila. Tapos, sabi ko naman na, yes, hanggang word of mouth. So, dapat talagang pangalan doon, private lessons. So, padami ako ng mga students. And then, for visa reasons, I need to pay tax. That time, nabasa ko sa newspaper dito na naghahanap ang YMCA. So, I applied, natanggap naman kaagad. Nag-10 years ako sa YMCA. And then, may mga, word of mouth na, si Miss Hannah nag-teach siya ng English. May mga community centers. Ako na, private lessons ko na yun. Hanggang year 2000, nag-put up ako ng simpleng pangalan, FCMN, like Filipino Christian Ministry Network. And then, parami ng mga students. Hanggang, I have to move to another place kasi for sale yung tinitirahan ko doon. Offer sa akin ng may-ari nung before siya namatay. Pero hindi pa kaya ng ating bulsa na bumili ng property dito. So I moved to the place where I am now, dito sa may Tachikawa area ng Tokyo, western part of Tokyo, 2010. That time, nakikita ako ng mga kapitbahayan. Ako lang yung foreigner dito. So, that was a time then na, yung layman shock na tinatawag, yung economy ng mundo affected din ng Japan. So, sa YMCA, kung saan ako nagtiteach, maraming mga parents na nawalan ng work. So, yung aking mga classes ay pumunti na rin. Affected din yung aking income. And same time din, talagang galing ng Panginoon kasi may sumasalo. Meron akong student dati na nag-work siya sa dispatch company na naghahanap sila ng English teacher sa government school, junior high school. Tapos sabi ko, nag-iisip pala ako na mag-quit na lang sa YMCA. Naka 10 years naman ako doon. Friday on. Saturday, the next day, I receive a call. Miss Hannah, can you teach at a junior high school and you can start on Monday? So, yes kagad. So, that Monday, imagine, no, Friday pala ako nag-iisip. Kasi with the layman shop, marami kong classes na kung every day, Monday until Saturday, yung klase ko, naging na lang, 3 times a week. So, ang laki ng nawalan ng aking income that time. And so, Monday, nag-work na ako sa junior high school. Imagine, I was teaching at least 1,500 students a month.
Oh my.
Two high schools, junior high schools. I was the only teacher, and there are 43 classes from first grade to third grade. The only foreigner and foreign teacher there. So it was so exciting for me, nawawiden yung aking influence, and nakakatuwa kasi yung pagtanggap ng Filipina teacher, hindi pa common actually yung Filipina assistant language teacher ang tawag doon. So, pagpasok ko pa lang sa gate, naghiyaw na sila, Hannah Sensei, gano'n. So, na-encourage naman ako. And then, here comes yung big earthquake in Tohoku, yung 9.0.
Yeah, when was that? 2013? 2011, yeah.
Yes.
Tapos may tsunami pa, di ba?
Yes, so affected din naman mga foreigners dito kasi we are under a dispatch company. So, yung aking dispatch company, di nila alam gagawin sa mga foreigners. And that was 2011, no? Sa aking tinitiran, dumarami na rin yung nag-i-inquire. And then, nagpipray ako, Lord, kung meron na akong 20 na private lessons, i-give up ko na yung aking junior high school teaching job. Kasi very unstable na rin because of this, natural disaster in Japan na yung dispatch company, di nila alam gagawin sa mga teacher sila, kagaya sa akin. And then, from that 20, talagang inalagaan ko. Hanggang dumami, more than 100 na ang students ko. And then, nagsabi, yes, I have a student na nag-work sa atin, parang batasang pambansa. And even naging secretary ng Prime Minister in Japan. Yung kanyang secretary is my student. Until now, 22 years ko nang tinuturuan tong government employee. So sabi niya, Hannah, baka masilip ka ng City Hall, magmulta ka kasi di mo pa pinaparegister. Nag-inquire ako sa mga lawyers, and then, kasi I've been teaching mga anak na mga taga City Hall din.
Okay.
Mga government, mga big-time people nagiging student ko. Kasi yung location ko is actually 1-minute walk sa train station. Na itong train station na to, 4 cities. It's a hub. So if you put up your own school, think of a location then. So it's really very good location. So imagine I have at least 100 students. Nag-hire din ako ng mga teachers. So, with the advice of lawyers, so pinaisip ako ng pangalan, and then I inquired nga, binigyan ako ng 2 lawyers with pay yun, ang mahal-mahal. I can still remember September 8, 2014. So, I have students na owners sila ng karate dojo, ang tawag nila. So, sinasabi sa akin sa mga classes namin na, Hannah, we hope Tokyo will win in the bidding to host the 32nd Olympics, Summer Olympics. Because yung pagbibid nila na may ipasama ang karate, this is their last chance. Kasi nadi-deny. Sabi ng Olympic Committee na you already have judo. So, they have to give in din sa mga iba't ibang sports na ibang bansa. So, judo is always part of the Olympic, sports. Now, karate, nag-apply sila ilang beses. Kung manalo ang Tokyo to host the Olympics, mananalo rin ang karate. So, September 8, yun ang aming paghihintay ng decision kung mananalo ang Tokyo sa bidding. 3 bansa naglalaban noon. Spain, Turkey, and Japan. And then that morning, I received a message from my lawyer na you really need to, change from the FCNN to, another name, itong school. And so, from morning until evening, the 9 o'clock news, sinabi nila na Tokyo won. And then, sabi ko, wow, nanalo yung aking ng Tokyo to host the 32nd Summer Olympics. And then, yung aking student din, yung Karate Association in Japan.
Yeah.
And then, yung sa akin din. So, nag-isip ako na olives, kasi pag manalo ka na ng Olympics, yung olives, laurel, tinatawag.
Yeah.
So, that's the name of my school, Olives English School. Actually, it's 4 schools into one. It's a corporation. I registered it as a corporation here in Japan. So,
Okay.
for the kids, we call it Olives English Club. For students, we call it Olives English School. For the business people and adults, we call it Olives Language School. And then yung pang-apat pa sana pala, yung Gakudo. But because of this pandemic, hindi muna na-push through.
Okay. So, meaning to say, hindi mo pinalano lahat, no? It's just fall into place. Parang
Yes.
ganun, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, nag-start kayo ng 2014, meron na kayong 100 students at that time, di ba?
Yes.
So, ngayon, kumusta na po? Ilang estudyante na po kayo meron?
As of this month, we're deeply affected by this pandemic, no?
I know.
Honestly, noong 2020, yung scare ng lumabas, madapuan ng virus, half or, nagsulat sa akin na, we're sorry, Miss Hannah, we don't know when we can go out. Actually, walang lockdown dito sa Japan. You can freely go out, pero nasa self-discipline na rin. And, yung kultura sa Japan na mindful of others, bali kung may virus ka, ikaw pa ang kalat ng virus na yon. Even before the pandemic, nagmamask na actually ang mga Japanese. Kasi pag may sipon sila, ayaw nila na makahawas sila. So, it's normal for them to have a mask
Wear
actually.
mask.
Now, with this virus, coronavirus, naging more careful sila. So, ang daming mga magulang sumulat sa akin na mula sila. Hindi naman quit sa nila. We don't know when we can go back. So, out of more than 100, I have like 50 plus. So, big, loss ko yun.
Tama.
Yes. So, I did different things. So, I went into online teaching that time. I taught different online courses.
Yeah,
And then
pwede
I trained different online courses, mga students. And if you can see my background, especially here, I
Yeah.
partnered with the London Teacher Training College. I franchise, actually. Same like FEU, if you know, Far Eastern University. They franchise the same thing with TESOL. Those who would like to, have their TESOL certificate, teaching English as a second language. So, yung mga certified, magiging teachers na sila. If you're applying for, teaching job, when you say TESOL certified ka, tatanggapin ka nila. So, I partnered with this, the first ever TESOL school in the world. We franchise, actually. I partnered with another group. And so, we brought this concept here in Japan. So, yun ang aking innovation with this pandemic na I lost a lot of students.
I know.
Okay, going back to your answer, my answer is, last night actually, I counted, we have 79 students.
Okay.
So, bumabalik na sila.
Bumabalik na. Pero, kumusta naman ang kaso ng virus dyan? Kasi, I think, karaniwan sa mga country ngayon, medyo open na. In fact, in the Philippines, open na yung mga foreigners na makapunta sa atin.
Yes, last week's data, ang Japan ang pinakamarami sa buong mundo. Tapos, yes, we have at least 240,000 last night's news yun. And 200 to 300 deaths every day. But sinasabi nila na ang Japan lang ang seryoso nagka-count ngayon. So, nire-report kasi very systematic dito, automated lahat. So, kung mayroon nang pumunta sa clinic, ini-encode nila, pupunta sa national data yun. So, nakikita nila talaga kung ilan nagkaka-COVID. But very timely, Ma'am Divine, yung tanong nyo. Kasi just yesterday, the government is thinking na ibahin yung kanilang sistema ng pagka-count ng COVID patients. Kasi pag meron na lang sinat or sipon, considered may virus na yon. And then, yung kanilang data ay pupunta pa sa national data. So, madaling makita actually, but then, ngayon, they have to categorize kung talagang coronavirus yun.
Or hindi.
So, just yesterday, yung ganung mga usapan, but the data is really, hindi bumababa ng 200,000, which is considered na pinakamataas sa buong mundo as of last week. With that data na 200 to 300 people dying because of this pandemic.
Ma'am Hana, sinabi mo kanina na medyo mas matagal kang nanirahan sa Japan kaysa Pilipinas, di ba?
Yes.
So, but during those times na nasa Pilipinas, ka-active naman po kayo sa mga protesta and everything. So, you're aware kung ano yung nangyari that time. So, kumusta ang politics sa Japan? How would you compare it sa atin? Kasi grabe sa atin during election, tapos yung issue sa corruption. What about dyan sa Japan? Kumusta nung observation mo?
Well, I finished economics, political science, so I'm into the, political observation here.
True.
Bali dito, kakaiba yung political system ng Japan compared sa Philippines, no? One is, sa Philippines, we can directly vote ng ating leader, the president and vice president. Dito sa Japan kasi, parliamentary form of government. So, yung mga local people, they will vote yung kanilang representative, and then maraming mga political parties yan. Tapos kung sino yung mananalong political party, pinakamarami, yung tinatawag na ruling party, they will decide who will be their leader. Mag-vote din yan. Ngayon may coalition kasi, may mga 4. In one ruling party, mayroon yung 4 factions. Tapos yung mag-vote sila, yung pinakamataas yung vote, siya na yung magiging prime minister in Japan from the ruling party. Ayun. So, July 8th, nalaman yon na binaril ng ang kanilang dating prime minister, si Shinzo Abe. Now, I did a lot of reporting. Actually, I'm also reporting sa Bombo Radio. So,
nakita ko yung mga pictures mo na nagre-report ka at saka video. So, naging correspondent ka sa Bombo Radio?
Yes, starting nung Olympics last year. Kasi, maraming hindi makapasok sa Japan because of this protocol na players lang ang pwedeng pumasok, mga Olympians lang. So, they were looking for somebody who can do reporting for them. And it so happened na I was working sa Olympic Village mismo, sa media center mismo. And so, they recommended me. Meron sila talagang 3 samurai radio reporters dito na hindi talaga sila yung trained na radio reporters, so pinili lang nila, and then somebody recommended me na si Hana nag-work sa Olympic Village, so okay naman ako, and from last year, so until now, they ask me whenever may mga situations sa Japan na kabali-balita, so I give in naman sa mga pagbibigay ng let's say, clarification. Kasi, actually, nakakatuwa nga sa reporting, no? Sa pag-aaral ko ng MASCOM. So, andun na medyo sensational or emotional ang reporting sa Japan. Whereas here, talagang very mild lang. So, even with your question about the politics here, very, parang ordinary people lang yung mga politicians dito. And they really serve. Tapos kung mayroon silang ginagawang mali, they resign.
They resign.
Yes, just last night is big news. Yung PNP, yung National Police dito, nag-resign because nga yung pagkabaril ng kanilang dating Prime Minister Abe ay tinake niya as his fault. Kasi ganun sila mag-isip. Ang nangyari sa baba, ang kanilang pupunteryahin yung leader para hindi siya masyadong parang pinag-isipan lahat. So marami dito nag-resign dahil sa kanilang hindi naggawa yung kanilang subordinates. So pag may problem dito, ang pupuntiryahin yung leader.
Yung leader. Wala tayong ganyan dito sa Pilipinas, di ba? Kasi kahit sa katutak yung issue, andun pa rin. Hindi pa rin yan mag-resign, di ba? Kahit may mga call na for them to resign. Tapos, na-mention mo a while ago tungkol sa tsunami, tungkol sa earthquake, at alam mo naman sa Pilipinas palagi tayong natamaan ng calamity. Pero ang observation natin, ikaw personally nandyan ka, but ang observation namin na wala dyan is parang after a year na natamaan kayo ng earthquake, ng tsunami, parang wala kang makikitang trace na nasira sila during that time. Yun po ba ang totoong nangyari?
Yes, hindi lang years, kundi days. Like, on example, no, sa Fukuoka, meron yung sinkhole. So, ano yan, busy street yan. In just few hours, they made a solution. And then, of course, asphalt yun. So, patibayin nila. After like 3 days, pwede na ulit gawin. So, days lang, hindi nyo sila maghihintay ng ano. So, yung kanilang risk management is very admirable. I hope sa ibang bansa gawin nila. In fact, yung nangyayari ngayon sa Ukraine, hindi nila ang tulong ng Japan kung paano i-rebuild. Kasi with what happened sa Japan nung 2011, nung tsunami na talagang maraming mga probinsya o we call it prefectures ang affected. Talagang washed out, flooded, maraming mga buildings na nag-topple down. So, ganun din ang nangyayari sa Ukraine. So, andun na willing naman ang Japan to give their, knowledge, technology, how to rebuild the whole country. So, dito, pag may mga ganung sakuna, very admirable how they face it. Actually, they're just, if you know the temperaments, Japanese are known to be phlegmatic. Hindi sila emotional. Hindi mo makikita yung kanilang pag-iiyak. Yes. So, that time, so I was a teacher that time. So, andun na, as a teacher, talagang tignan mo lahat mga news para kung magtatanong yung students, meron kang sasabihin. So, imagine na wash out na lahat ng kanilang kagamitan. Nag-open ang kanilang mga convenience stores for free. People will line up. Walang looting, walang nag-iiyakan. Tahimik lang, nakapila sila para kumuha. And walang yung, actually kasama ako sa, yung toilet rolls. Ang daming mga kailangan yon.
Yeah.
Alagay sa shelf, take one for each family. So, yun talaga, sinusunod nila. Wala yung, para sa aking kaibigan, para hindi. Talagang kung one lang kunin mo. Ganun sila ka-disiplinado. They are mindful of others na, okay, baka kailangan pa ng iba.
I think, yun yung kulang sa atin, no? Yung disiplina. Di ba? Kasi,
mindful of others din.
yeah, mindful of others. Kasi, I remember, tayong mga Pinoy, kahit dito sa Canada, itatanong mo pag Pinoy yung trabahante, gustong-gusto ng mga employer. 'Di ba? Kasi ang galing daw ng Pinoy, tapos hindi tamad, ganun. Then, bakit yan sa Pilipinas hindi tayo masyadong magaling? Yun yung...
Very hard.
I'm just wondering kung ano bang nangyari, kung bakit sa atin ang tamad-tamad natin pag nasa ibang bansa na tayo, ang bait-bait natin. Tapos, di ba, ang daming mga Pinoy nag-excel abroad dahil sa pinakita nilang galing. At bakit hindi natin yan gawin while nasa bansa tayo, di ba? So, yun yung naisip ko lang. So, imagine, after ilang days, nasolusyonan kaagad nila yung mga nangyari during that calamity?
Yes. Actually, it's like this. Kasi yung mga bahay doon, may mga emotions touch din, may mga traditional na kanilang iniisip. Like, meron yung kindergarten doon na at least 20, marami namatay ng mga bata. So, andun yung hati, mga tao doon. iko-collapse ba nila yon? Yung ibang magulang sa they would like to keep the memory of their children. So, may mga consultation naman. Some buildings, easily na collapse. Some buildings, they have to really ask the permission of yung mga bereaved family. Biglaan yon, mga anak nila, nag-iisang anak, mga gano'n. So, it took time din. Yung iba. Pero ngayon, if you go to Tohoku, kakaiba na ngayon. Okay, one good example, sa Nagasaki and Hiroshima. These are the two places lang na bomb. There are at least 200,000 people who were killed. Ngayon, pagpunta ka doon, wala pang years, well-developed place na. Sa
Parang walang nangyari.
Parang walang nangyari. And then, when you interview people, you were bombed. The only country na bomb ng nuclear power, no? Tapos, Americans did it. Tapos ngayon, may mga McDonald's, may mga American shops doon. Ang sasabihin ng mga tao, we think more of the peace rather than the war. So kakaiba yung kanilang pananaw. Their perspective is really very, admirable. Na marami tayong matutunan din. And then another thing na magandang ugali dito, yung innovation. They're so innovative. A few years ago, pupunta kami ng family ko. I brought my family here for a tour. Yung brother ko, yung sister ko. Pumunta kami sa Bridgestone. Bridgestone, yung tires. Nag-umpisa to noong 18th century na medyas lang. So, sa alam dito, medyas lang nag-umpisa. And then, dahil slippery yung medyas, naglalagay sila ng rubberized na socks. And then, cart ang gamit ng mga tao dito. That's 18th century. Nilagyan na ngayon ng rubber, yung cart. Hanggang nag-umpisa na rin mga automobiles, yung Ford. Dito sa Japan, nag-umpisa na rin yung tires. One of the first tires is Bridgestone. And then, ngayon yung bicycles. And you know what? Yung rocket. Ngayon, ay ginagamit yung Bridgestone tires. And yung mga buildings ngayon sa Japan, kahit na malakas yung earthquake, sumusunod lang yung structure kasi meron mga tires, Bridgestone tires. Kaya sila mag-isip. From the socks to the rocket. To the buildings ngayon.
Very innovative, no?
Yes.
I remember, dun sa Cebu, meron kaming underpass na yung nag-handle is yung JICA, yung Japanese International. Di ba loan yan? Tapos, pag magpa-loan sila sa inyo, dapat sila yung mag-handle ng project na yan. Oo. And merong isa dun sa Cebu. Wala talagang problema during pag umuulan, walang baha and everything. Tapos ngayong bago lang, merong iba na namang underpass na kino-construct doon nung matapos na. Diyos ko Lord, pag mag-ulan, hanggang dito yung tubig during pag umuulan. So bumaha talaga doon sa ilalim ng So iba talaga, quality talaga sila, no? Kung kung may mga project sila.
Yes.
Talaga.
Yes, very mapido yung kanilang trabaho. And tapos ang nakakatuwa pa, no, that yung Bridgestone kasi, bridge sa Japanese is Hayashi. Stone is Ishi. Family. A lot of companies in Japan are family owned. And it's generations. And the oldest hotel in the world, it was built in 707, nasa Japan. 43 family generations na ang nag-handle. Ganun yung mga businesses dito. Umaabot ng hundreds of years, kagaya itong Bridgestone na to. Tapos, kung ano man yung trend ng mundo, nag-adapt sila. So, siguro isipin natin yung innovation, yung adoption, kung ano nangyayari. Yet, they are keeping their tradition, their culture. So, they're balancing with all this new technology, innovation, but they're keeping their culture. Kasi, yung fear ng mga countries na mag-develop makakalimutan na yung kultura. But
Kultura
for
nila.
Japan, they are keeping with all the changes in the world, yung kanilang technology, pero andun pa rin yung kultura nila. Like
Kultura
ngayon, I intentionally put yung aking background, no? Makikita mo yung 4 seasons dito. So, ina-adapt din nila yung kanilang seasons. Kung ano man, hindi yung, basta nilang ganito nilang. Hindi. Hindi yung bahala na mentality, but then you adopt with what's going on and then what's good for other people, mindful of others, and then isipin mo na quality and maglalas ito.
Tama.
Like companies here nag-stay ng hundreds of years.
Tama. Okay. So ano pa yung mga plano mo sa school nyo dyan? Siyempre, medyo babalik na after sa pandemic. Medyo babalik na yung mga estudyante. Ano pa yung mga plano mo for your school?
Okay, I'm at the stage of nasa e-commerce pumasok na ako. If you can see sa second ko to, all is KK. Pumasok na ako sa Amazon, sa Rakuten, sa iba't ibang e-commerce. And maybe I can show to you, these are, we call it All is, that's the name of my company, playing cards and Uno. And if I can share to you, ito yung mga, what makes Japan unique. Ang tinatawag na OIJ, only in Japan. Actually, Mom Divine, you can buy it sa Amazon Canada. So, yes. So with this, for example, yung red, ito yung mga unique foods in Japan. Yung sushi, tempura. Tapos pag blue naman, ito yung kanilang costumes. Yung Ono, yung geta. Tapos yung green, yung kanilang nature, like, sakura. You can see here, sakura. At yung mga iba't ibang bulaklak. Tapos yung purple naman, ito yung kanilang sports, hobbies, and yung entertainment. So we have yung karate, judo, and then we have yung sumo. So this is getting to know Japan. So this is actually in my 30 years of teaching here, nag-gather ko yung what makes Japan unique, and then yung mga ideas ng mga students ko. So from here, it starts with cards, and then hopefully soon yung flashcards, and then book. Actually with this Olympic, nagsulat na ako ng book, hindi lang na-publish kasi di ba 1 year na na-delay? We don't know kung matutuloy. So, yung book na yun is for the Olympics. Tapos, ito nga, COVID na hindi matuloy-tuloy. Yung aking translator and illustrator, ayaw nilang lumabas din kasi medyo may edad na sila. So, my next project is into book writing and yung mga learning materials. So, I've been teaching here for 30 years. So, nung pa ako kinakantahan ng isang publishing company dyan sa Pilipinas na mas maganda na mag-umpisa ako ng textbooks, and then, andun na yung royalty. Hindi ko medyo pinag-iisipan kasi I was enjoying what yung pag-teach ko sa iba't ibang places. Meron akong YMCA, meron akong junior high school na tinuturuan. Meron din akong private lessons. So, I was really here and there. Marami akong mga students. But then, with this pandemic, it gave me really time na mag-stay put sa isang lugar. Nag-isip ako na, hindi lang to actually ang ginawa ko na for promoting the Japanese culture. Even mga chains, mga pins, original creation na my touch of Japan. So if you go to Amazon, you can see this Olives KK, yun ang aking trademark. Na, we call it brand. It's so difficult to have a brand in Japan. So in a way, I'm adopting the Japanese culture then. And then if you can see yung 5 dito, these are mascots. Japan is known for their animation.
True.
So I also came up with animation na ginagamit ko to sa aking school. So let's say yung pinakauna dito, si Champ, this is for the Olives kids. Ito yung kanilang character. And then yung pangalawa ay pang middle naman, nakahawak ng torch. That's for the adults, the Olives Language School. And then yung babae naman, that's for the students. And yung dalawa for Gakudo, supposed to be, yung after school. So, dito kasi, even mga cities, they have their own mascot. if you okay, Japan has this auto one town one product, which actually TTI in the Philippines adopted it. So,
That,
for
yeah.
example, Cebu known for danggit. And
Mm-mm.
then if you go to Bicol, known for their pilinat, mga ganon. Actually,
Yeah.
that concept ng DTI, kinuha nila sa Japan. And then here in Japan, every city, they have their own mascot. Okay? Now, I hope in the Philippines din, para pag makita nila, that's from Cebu.
Yeah,
Or,
yeah.
that's from Bicol. Hindi pa na-adapt yun ng Japan, ay ng Philippines. So, kasi from these mascots, you can do merchandising like t-shirts, cap.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-mm. Tama.
Yes. So, let's say I'm just starting things here. Now, I hope I can also relay in the Philippines. We can get what's good here, sharing the ideas, the blessing. But, building the economy, hindi lang dito, kundi rin
Yeah.
sa Pilipinas.
Mm-mm. Tama. Okay, so hindi naman ganun kahirap magnegosyo sa Japan.
Very easy. I mean, of course, kailangan ng pondo.
Of
Uh,
course.
Especially if you register as a corporation, meron ka dapat amount. Actually, you can start with $1, but then I am dependent on the registration of my visa is dependent on my company. Wala akong kamag-anak dito sa Japan. Wala akong nagbibigay ng visa. So, with my company that I put up, yun ang nagbibigay ng visa sa akin.
Visa.
So,
Ah.
if I may share with you, how I came up with this corporation. So, the lawyers na aking kinausap, dalawa sila, sabi nila, Hana, if you would like your visa to be dependent on your company, dapat na 5 million yen ang meron
Wow.
ka.
So how
Is
much is
that
that in peso?
5 million yen divided by 2 is like 2.5 million pesos.
Okay.
So, that time, with the layman shop na sabi ko kanina na kumonting aking students,
Oo.
and then nag-teach ako sa government dito, but I was under a dispatch company, yung ALT na tinatawag. So, I don't really have much money and very high ang cost of living dito. I'm renting, actually, I'm renting 2 big buildings. So, talagang tamang-tama lang yung income dito kasi mahal nga ang pamumuhay. I was employing people, karamihan mga Filipinos ang teachers ko noon. Sila ang medyo masagana. Pero yung sa akin, medyo tamang-tama lang. So,
There's
ngayon,
expenses, no?
yes. So, I actually organize events. Let's say, February, we have the Valentine's event. And then, yun na rin yung tinatawag na lunar calendar, New Year. Japan has a different culture. So, yung kanilang New Year, kagaya ng mga Chinese New Year, same din, lunar calendar. And then, yung birthday ng Japan na tinatawag, Foundation Day, that's February. So, 3 events into one. So, maraming mga magulang, mga kamag-anak, kaibigan, dumarating sa aking school. And then, pag March, April naman, ito yung Easter event. And then, pag June, like it's summertime. Like now, it's summer in Japan. And then I have the autumn festival, which kilala alam natin na Halloween, ganon. So that, and then December is Christmas, and may tinatawag na Bon and Kai, which is year-end celebration dito. One time, with all this animation culture dito, nag-create ako ng Halloween where they can make use of kung ano man yung animation costume nila, cosplay. So, ang dami nag-join, more than 100, and then interested sila mag-enroll. And then sabi ko, thinking na, how can I register as a corporation itong Olives? And then, sa biyaya ng Panginoon with His wisdom giving to me, kasi inisip ko talagang dapat ko nang i-register.
Yeah.
Mag-announce ako, let's say, inspiration, na kung gusto niyo mag-enroll sa aking school, sabi ko sa mga magulang, 15% discount kung 1 year na mag-enroll ka. That's like $1,000 ang ibigay nila. And then kung 6 months, that's 10% discount. Kung 3 months, 5% discount. In that moment, 30 parents came. So meron na akong 3 million kaagad. Sabi ko, Lord, thank you. And then meron yung 6 months. In 2 weeks, I called my 2 lawyers. I have the cash now, 5 million. How did you get it? Tapos ang tanong pa nila, meron ka bang may sugar, they have a term, patron. yung parang or daddy or sa na ako. Tapos ako, no, I don't have a relative here. I don't have a boyfriend nor wala akong pinagkunan. It's just from the students. Kasi that's how God miraculously provided yung aking pangangailangan ng registration, 5 million.
Yeah. God will provide talaga.
That's true.
He
It's all by God's grace.
Yeah, He provides everything. Okay. So wala na tayong oras. Ang ganda ng usapan natin. Parang wala lang yung 1 hour.
Yes.
Ang dami natin na-discuss. So, Ma'am Hana, ano po yung mensahe mo na gustong iwan para sa mga televiewers natin, most especially those who are planning to work or live abroad?
I encourage you to travel, the whole world. You can learn a lot through, traveling. Kagaya sa akin, nag-travel muna ako sa iba't ibang bansa and I learned a lot because limited lang yung nakikita natin sa libro o kaya sa TV. So, explore as you can and in your exploration, tingnan nyo kung ano yung maganda para sa sa iba, mindful of others then. And don't be afraid to test waters. Like for me, wala akong kakilala kamag-anak dito except the one who invited me here. Oh, okay, there was one other Japanese, but then magkaiba. Iba yung kaniyang tinitirahan. So, of course, andun yung pananalig sa Panginoon na God is with us wherever we go. Thankful tayo na meron tayong, Christian faith na God will be with us wherever we go. So, maging faithful tayo sa Panginoon and then isipin natin na kung ano ang gagawin natin, we ask His wisdom, and that's what I did. If God has blessed me this much, the Lord will bless you too. And we have God who is so loving, and where the Lord leads you, He will provide. And if you go to where He wants you to go, that's where He will pour His blessings. Kung kaloban ng Lord na dyan ka sa Canada, dyan niya ipupour yung blessing niya. Huwag mong ipagpilit sa ibang bansa kasi all the struggles there. So, inisip din natin. So, it's good to travel and then see if that's God's, location for you. And like for me, thankful ako sa Panginoon na dinala ako dito sa Japan. And this is where I'm blooming now by His grace. I've been here 30 years, 6 months, and 25 days to be exact.
Wow.
And I've stayed longer here. 22 years old ako nung umalis ako sa Pilipinas. And now 30 years ako dito. So, ganun na ako magulang, katanda. And I'm still single. So imagine that, no relatives and single, but God is with me. And so, I really encourage you to explore and be faithful sa ating Panginoon. And He will never leave us or forsake us. His faithfulness is new to us every day. So
true. Yeah. Thank you very much, Ma'am Hana, sa time na binigay niyo sa amin. I know you're so busy. May schedule ka ngayon dapat, but you give us time, para ma-share yung journey mo dyan sa Japan. And I just hope na na-inspire yung mga kababayan natin, nanonood sa atin, ma-inspire. Kasi pag kaya ni Ma'am Hana, bakit hindi din kaya ng iba? 'Di ba? Basta faith lang in Him. I know na the Lord will guide us. So maraming salamat sa oras niyo po. And of course, ako pa salamatan akong partner nga si Brad Tone nga medyo busy karong buntaga. Ang atong mga staff sa CCTN, si Inday Lopez, di sa TOC, of course, nga nahimong posibleng live kini atong program. Si Juan Lopez Alfabete, si Kuya Nilo Cabarles, si Robert Algidano, and of course, ang atong kadagkuan sa CCTN, si Tatay Dudong Limchua o si Nanay Dayan Limchua. And Ma'am Hana, God bless you always, and sana magtagumpay whatever plans pa to expand your school, sana magtagumpay lahat. I know na the Lord will always bless you. So maraming salamat. Have a nice day, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you, and God bless us all.
Yes.